put out 2 videos about Valve killing physical gift cards and those antitrust lawsuits heading for trial. I have to be honest with you, I expected some pushback from Twonks telling me why Valve is second coming of Christ. What I didn't expect were an entire battalion of volunteers writing free legal defence for a multi-billion-dollar corporation, while simultaneously proving every single point I made in those videos. These Twonks didn't just miss point, they snapped it over the knee, set it on fire, and then pissed on fucking ashes. This is a fun one. Alright, you lot. I'm going to be honest, I was laughing so hard at this lot I nearly pulled my hernia. I'm sure anyone with half a brain cell knows multi-billion corporations like Valve's not your friend. They're a business, an extremely profitable business, and they've done things that are anti-competitive and anti-consumer. But comments I got back were so detached from reality, I genuinely had to check whether these people were being paid. Spoiler alert, they weren't. And that's the worst part about it. They're doing this PR shit for Valve for free. First contestant goes by the name Mystical Fox, and he dropped this gem on me gift card video. You can just put Steam money on your Steam card wallet by Steam itself, so Steam card useless. Same with PSN and Xbox and Nintendo cards. Now, before I respond, I need a moment of silence for English language, because that sentence just committed a hate crime against it. Yeah, sounds hypocritical coming from a Yorkshireman, doesn't it? But there's a difference between accent and grammar. Anyway, this comment tells me everything I need to know about how little he thought about it. I replied, and I'll paraphrase myself here. Oh look, someone missed point entirely. Hey Nan, why buy me gift cards? Why don't you just enter your card details on this multi-billion-dollar corporate website and top up my account? Because that's real point, innit? Not everyone wants the bank details plugged into every digital storefront on planet. Some people, and I know this is a radical concept, prefer to grab a gift card from shop. But then the Rackwa turns up. That's a stupid way to argue this. Kids and teenagers need to be handled by the parents. You give parents money in cash and let them buy games for the kids. It was like this for decades. What it really? Because for decades, those parents were buying gift cards, you absolute weapon. That what system, and whole point of gift cards existing. Parents who didn't want to put their card details into Steam or PlayStation or Xbox could walk into a shop, buy a card, hand it to the kid, job were done. No bank details entered, no stored payment methods, no risk of little Timmy going on a spending spree at 3 in the morning cause mum's visa is saved on account. And, believe it or not, there are people, including parents, who will not enter the card details into an online system, ever, because they understand risks. And before anyone says, well, that's paranoid, no it isn't. Data breaches happen constantly. Payment systems get compromised. People lose money. Gift cards were a simple, clean, safe workaround, and now it's going away. But sure, tell me again how useless it is. And yeah, I will concede that there may have been a time when grandparents gave cash to parents to buy their kid a game. But we're talking pre-digital era, when parents bought physical games from a physical store. We aren't needing to use the card. And sure, you could still use your card, if you choose to, but generally, a lot of them paid cash. Many still practice that tradition for console games today, but we're not talking consoles here, are we? Now that was just an appetizer. Main course comes from lawsuit video, and this is where Steam Defence Force really earned their badge. This contestant goes by TheRealNigel5613. He asks, wouldn't solution to anyone wanting to sell it cheaper be to just set price low on both platforms and let market decide? Valve is just evening playing field. I absolutely love that framing. Even playing field. Because what Valve is actually doing is telling developers that if they dare offer their game cheaper on any other storefront, even if that storefront takes a smaller cut, Valve will remove the game from Steam. So that's not even in playing field at all. It's rigging it. Now I asked him a simple question. Would you accept paying 18% more tax doing the same job as someone working for a competitor? Funny enough, no reply to that one. But there were another contestant by the name of Shin posting. He jumps in with a full essay about Steam Workshop, forums, guides, news pages, cloud save, Steam recording, and all other features Valve offers. Yeah, fair enough. Valve do offer a lot of nice user tools. Nobody's disputing that. But I said it in video, and I repeated it in comments. But I'll say it again for impaired. It's not about 30% cut. Valve can charge whatever they want to access their platform. That's their business. Problem is, what happens when a developer wants to offer a cheaper price on a different platform that takes a smaller cut? See, Epic Games Store since June 2025 gives developers 100% of their first million in revenue per product, per year. And after that, they take 12%. Microsoft Store on PC takes 12%, and that's done since August 2021. So if I'm a developer, I can keep 88% of my revenue on Epic instead of 70% on Steam. But what if I want to pass that saving on to you, customer, by offering a lower price on Epic? I should be able to do that, right? Well, no. Cause Valve says if I do, they'll pull my game from Steam. And cause Steam controls well over 75% at PC gaming market, losing access to that storefront is a death sentence to most developers. And Ubisoft found that out hard way. Then this delightful contestant, MattJ, he rolls in with what he clearly thinks is a killer argument. Oh, can't charge less on another platform bit is cause Valve quite literally provides Steam keys to developers to distribute on other sites. Free of charge, by the way, and then eats cost of hosting and distribution at downloads, making it so there's no reason for customer to not purchase key directly through Valve where they can get their cut is reasonable business practice, and I honestly don't see what anyone has a problem with it for. Here, kiddo, allow me to let you in on a little secret. Epic Games don't sell you a Steam key. Neither do Microsoft, GOG, Ubisoft Connect, EA, and more like them. These are separate storefronts with their own infrastructure, distribution, and payment systems. Valve providing Steam keys for third-party resellers like Humble, G2A, Fanatical, and others like that has absolutely naught to do with whether a developer can offer a different price on a completely separate platform. And bless his little heart, he came back for more. He actually typed with his own hands. Considering that other storefronts take only 12% versus 30%, if Valve enforces equal pricing to their storefront, that would effectively ensure that if a sale is made on a different storefront, devs would make more from that transaction, assuming consumer decides to purchase game from any storefront other than Steam. But there's no reason for a consumer who is already on Steam to venture to other storefronts unless they have a good reason to, simply because Valve does it best in every single way and consistently. Now, I just sat there staring at those comments, because he'd done it. He'd literally described exact anti-competitive behaviour that these lawsuits are about and presented it as a positive feature. That's all point, mate. If every storefront is forced to charge same price, why would anyone leave Steam? They wouldn't. And that means Epic and Microsoft can never compete on price, while Steam maintains its dominance by preventing alternatives from offering you a better deal. That's very definition of anti-competitive behaviour. This kid has literally built Prosecution's case for him while trying to defend Valve. Stockholm Syndrome don't even begin to cover it. But then comes big one. GamMngitSssEmoTionaL. I got emotional trying to read that. Seriously, there must have been an earthquake or something when he made the account. And it got worse when I had to attempt to decode wall of text he left. And what I found buried deep in an avalanche of missing punctuation is a person who genuinely believes they're making a solid argument. He says, it's not just price of game we are paying for service they give us whole Steam Valve platform. No, you're not paying for Steam as a platform, because that would be a platform subscription. You don't pay Valve for those services. They're offered for free. 30% cut comes from developers. And yeah, you could argue developers pass that cost on to you through higher prices, and you'd be right. But that's exactly the point I'm making. He then said something that absolutely killed me. When you look at how many employees they have compared to valuation and esteem, it truly shows how much step above rest they are so efficient. In case you didn't know, Valve is a privately owned company with somewhere between 336 and 350 employees. Last year, they pulled in roughly $16 billion. It's about $50 million per employee. And yeah, on paper, that sounds impressive. And it is truly impressive. But think about where that money comes from. They take 30% off every indie dev's revenue. Developers who are surviving on pot noodles and struggling to pay rent, while Gabe Newell just bought a 20,000 square foot mega mansion in Florida for $70 million. It's got 7 bedrooms, 13 bathrooms. 13! What's a man doing with 13 bathrooms? I've got 1, and half the time I can't even find fucking toilet roll. It's also got an underground tunnel to a private beach, an 8-car garage, and a wellness wing. Oh, and it's just down the road from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, so it's in good company there. And no, that's not hating on Trump. While there are some things about bloke that are dodgy and require some serious questions, in a lot of ways he's fucking awesome, and a great president to boot. I'm a pragmatist. I can like bloke, but I will point out his flaws. But Gabe also dropped $500 million on a super yacht last year, with gaming rooms and an onboard hospital. This man's living like a fucking Bond villain, funded by a 30% tax on small-time indie developers who can barely make rent, and you lot are out here defending him for free. You're doing his legal and PR free of charge. I've got mates paying hundreds of thousands for that kind of coverage. But what none of you seem to understand is these lawsuits are real. Federal judge in Western District of Washington denied Valve's motion for summary judgment back in March, meaning it's going to a jury trial. Certified developer class has roughly 32,000 publishers and studios. Disputed fees amount to over $6 billion in annual revenue. And it's not just me covering it. Everyone's covering it. Bloomberg covered it. Wall Street Journal covered it. This isn't some Reddit conspiracy theory. It's federal antitrust litigation. And primary objective at class isn't just damages. It's a permanent court injunction against Valve's price parity rules. And your comments, defences and arguments in favour of Steam you're making in those comment sections, a judge would fucking love them, because you're objectively not defending Valve from accusations, and instead you're confirming every single one of them. Every time one of you writes, "There's no reason to go anywhere else," or "Valve is just even in playing field," or "Devs make more money on other storefronts anyway," you are literally articulating anti-competitive lock-in that these lawsuits are built on. You are evidence. And funniest part of all this absolute peak of hypocrisy is that half a year a bit first to scream about capitalism when it's EA, Ubisoft or Activision doing it. You rant and rave about capitalist practices at AAA publishers, the microtransactions, the season passes, the live service garbage, and I've no doubt you'll be among first to complain about GTA 6 if it's priced at $100, and we'll soon find out when pre-orders start this week. But when Valve does it, taking a bigger cut from smaller indie developers, forcing price parity across storefronts so you can never get a better deal unless there's a Steam sale, and threatening to delist games for daring to be cheaper somewhere else, suddenly it's fine. It's consumer friendly, and they earned it. You sound like same tribal idiots who spent a decade screaming about console wars, except now you're doing it for PC storefronts. It's exact same thing. Xbox versus PlayStation became Steam versus Epic, and you lot picked a side and turned your fucking brains off. So allow me to put it in a context so easy to understand a 5-year-old would get it. When it's time to renew your ISP contract, do you just stay or do you shop around for a better deal? When your energy supplier puts prices up, do you just accept it or do you look at switching? When your phone contract ends, do you blindly re-sign or do you see what competition's offering? Many of us shop around on a daily basis for something as simple as food. I use 4 different stores just to get cheapest deals and save money. Not because I need to, but because I can. Because that's how competition works. If Tesco called Heinz today and told them charge same for baked beans in Aldi, or they'll remove them from the store, there'd be a fucking riot. If Heinz complied, some would grumble and pay it, others would stop buying them altogether. But if Heinz refused and Tesco stopped stocking them, everyone would shop elsewhere where they are available. That's competition. It's how healthy market functions. And what Valve is doing is exact opposite to that. They are Tesco, telling Heinz that baked beans must cost same everywhere or they get removed. And you lot are standing in Tesco car park clapping whilst dribbling down your chins. I stopped buying from Steam, and yeah, I've got a massive library there, because I've purchased from them plenty of times, just like all of you. But I refuse to keep funding these anti-competitive, anti-consumer practices. Do I miss out on games because of it? Yeah, sometimes, but most of them turn out to be a waste of time anyway. And do devs make less because of it? Well, not necessarily. Because if a game is available elsewhere, even if it's at inflated price that Steam demands, I will, and have, bought games there. I've got thousands more games across Epic, GOG, Amazon, Microsoft, and yeah, even publisher launchers like Blizzard, Ubisoft and EA. Whether I still play them or not is irrelevant, because point is, I did make choice to go elsewhere. I have multiple launchers on my system, and I'm not blinded by tribalistic devotion to one platform. If Valve shut down Steam today for good and took your library with them, would you still have games to play? Or would you need to buy most of them again? I know I'll be fine, and there's others like me who will be too. Something worth thinking about before you judge. Now, I wouldn't deny Valve has done some great things, not just on the platform, but with the support for Linux as well. Proton's been great for those of us who don't want to be shackled to Windows. But most of the good they've done want out of compassion for you, and I'm working on a video about all of that. But as a teaser, almost every good thing Valve has done has served Valve first, and you second. They've done exactly what all those AAA corporate suits would love to do, but can't afford to, because the margins are too razor thin to risk it, because they have shareholders to please. But Valve doesn't have that problem, and at $50 million per employee, they can afford all they want, including a mega mansion with a private tunnel to a beach and a super yacht with a private hospital. And look, I know some of you are watching or hearing this and are still not convinced. You're still sat there thinking, but Steam's just better. Maybe it is. Maybe it features community, ecosystem, all of it. Maybe it is best platform. But that don't make anti-competitive practices acceptable. You can enjoy product and still hold company accountable for dodgy business practices. It seems to me some of you can't separate product from corporation. And that's where tribalism kicks in, and you stop thinking, rolling up into comment sections of videos like mine, writing free legal arguments whilst providing all evidence those lawsuits need. So it is my esteemed honour to present you all with a badge for Steam Defence Force Capitalism Division. Congratulations, you earned it. Not through service, or intelligence for that matter, but through a dedication to corporate bootlicking so thorough, so committed, so utterly devoid of self-awareness that even Valve's actual legal team couldn't have written better material. You defended Valve and described anti-competitive behaviour in detail while calling it a feature. Watch this space for that Valve documentary. Trust me, you'll have some comments for that. And if you like this video, YouTube says you'll like this and next. So go check that out, and I'll see you there, you magnificent.